Kathleen and I are out here on the patio having a cup of coffee. Wish all of you could be here enjoying this coffee with us right now. But I've been sharing with her about some of the things that the Lord has been showing me about the ministry, the Godly Girlfriends ministry, and just women's ministry in general. And so, anyway, this is just kind of going to be one of those pop-up moments to where we just share a little bit about out of my journals for a few weeks about what the Lord is showing me. And so I'm just going to start off with, so bear with me because I write in several different journals. So just bear with me here as we talk about this. But anyway, a few weeks ago I was at my daughter and son-in-law's home, and at 5:20 every morning, exactly 5:20 every morning when I was there, I knew that my son-in-law Adam was up and he was getting ready to go teach his first class of the day, which he teaches at their CrossFit gym. And the reason that I knew that is because the smell of the coffee. And that smell, it just every morning I knew what time it was without ever even looking at the clock. I knew what time it was, and I knew he was up, and I knew what he was doing. And it made me think, I miss that. I miss that. I miss waking up to that fresh brewed aroma that we don't get that with Keurig, which is what I have. And absolutely, Keurig makes great coffee. I love it, or I wouldn't have it. And we don't have to wait but just that long for that cup of awesomeness whenever we want to. It's really handy with busy lives on the go. But you know what? As I started thinking about, sometimes in that quick and easy, we miss that delightful aroma of fresh brewed coffee. And that's where the memories linger. So as I'm thinking about all of this, that smell takes me back to my childhood and to that first morning, to that of every visit whenever I would go. But it was that first morning that was always the most difficult morning to get up and get going, and it just didn't match up with my normal routine at home. And I would be there in their home, and what felt like the middle hours of the night, the first thing that would awaken was my sense of smell of fresh brewing coffee. And this wasn't Keurig, and it wasn't even the way that Adam made it in the electric coffee pot, but penetrating the air throughout the house was the result of heaps of coffee grounds in an old metal coffee pot boiling on top of the gas. The quickly approaching sunrise in favor of sleep, which I would try to do that. That smell would soon be interlaced with bacon frying, sausage frying, and then soon after that would come eggs and gravy and homemade biscuits. You remember that too? Yeah. And that would just about guarantee to pull me out of that warm and comfy feather mattress bed that was piled high with worn and loved old quilts. Then the rooster crowed. The sun hadn't even peeked into the darkness yet. But there on that little farm, I knew it was time to begin a new day. And all of this beginning with that delicious smell of coffee that I was yet to be old enough to even consider drinking was a clarion call to the new day. It was a trumpet sound that a new adventure awaited me at my great-grandparents' simple little farmhouse that was nestled in the thick, tall trees of East Texas. Now, I can remember so vividly walking into their tiny living room and seeing my frail great-grandmother, whom we lovingly called Big Mama, and trust me, there was definitely nothing big about her, but her strength defined her. And every morning she would be backed up to that gas heater with her dress hiked up, warm at her backside, and that coffee was brewing. And with the precision of an efficient alarm clock, she would begin preparing that big breakfast with perfect timing of knowing exactly when my great-granddad, that we call Big Daddy, would come in from outside where he had been gathering eggs and tending to all the little farm animals. His plate would be waiting for him on that old worn table, along with a cup of steaming and stout coffee in a saucer. Now that coffee was so strong it could probably stand on its own without the cup. Big Daddy always said, if you can read it through a newspaper, it ain't worth drinking. He wouldn't like my cream and sugar in my coffee. I can tell you that right now. But his coffee was so piping hot from being boiled on top of that stove, there was no other way to enjoy it unless it was cup and saucer. Do you know anything about cup and saucer? Do you remember the cup and saucer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so some of you out there that are watching this, y'all may remember about cup and saucer and coffee too. I loved watching them cup and saucer their coffee. And they would pour it from the cup into the saucer to cool, and they had to do that because it had just been boiling for so long on top of that stove that there was no way that they could drink it unless they did that. And without a doubt, that coffee had substance. Now I want y'all to hang on to that word about substance, because we're going to talk about that over the next couple of times that I'm going to be speaking here. But every day was a new adventure at my Big Mom and Big Daddy's house. And it would be from the sunset sound of the crickets singing their lullabies all night outside that open bedroom window where I slept, to that soon-to-be sunrise sound of the rooster crowing, that a new day was beginning and just begging to be explored. You know, and here's my point to all of this. It takes a clarion call to focus on what is necessary. It takes a clarion call to focus on what is necessary. Now, a clarion call, what this is, a clarion it was a medieval trumpet with clear, shrill tones, and it means loud and clear, and it also means a call to action. And now in 1 Corinthians 14:8, where's my Bible? Right here. 1 Corinthians 14:8. It says, if the trumpet does not sound a clear call, who will get ready for battle? Who will get ready for battle? Now, one morning a few weeks ago, Nathalie, I've been telling you here just a little bit. So a few weeks ago, I ran by Nathalie's house for something, and as I was leaving, she said, what has God told you about? And she went on to ask me about this certain thing. And I just kind of looked at her a moment, and then I just said, nothing. Honestly, I don't think he's told me anything about that yet. And with her mama look that she gives to me sometimes, it's that look that I know that means I love you, but you need to listen to me right now. She said, you know, I think you need to take some time and press into that. And later in the day, she texted me and she said, you know, I think you might want to call a 3-day fast and have some to join you in that. Without hesitation, I did. I did just that. And several days later, she said, I needed you to get focused. That was a clarion call. That was a clarion call. And it was a call I needed to get focused on the new day, or the new adventure to be explored, so to speak. And immediately, the Lord began to download into me things that I know He had been trying to show me and say to me, yet I had been too busy snuggled up in that feather bed mattress, comfortable with old quilts piled up on me, and which that translates into the opposite. I was just too busy with other things in my life to get focused on that. I was ignoring the silence of the crickets and the crowing of the rooster and the smell of the coffee. And you know, it's funny. I never remember a time when Big Mama simply sat at the table to eat with us. But what a perfect vessel she was to prepare the clarion call for the new day. So I'm going to ask all of you that are watching this, I want you to really pray about this over the next few days. What is the clarion call, that trumpet sound that is blowing loud and clear to call you into action? Are you ignoring it? Or are you preparing for battle? Because I'm telling you, He needs us. And He does not need us snuggled up in our warm comfies doing nothing. He needs us to go to battle for Him.